Hello, I'm at the home of Nelson Sardelli, a multi-talented entertainer who has been in the limelight for many, many, many years. A man that came originally from Brazil and is now well known in Vegas. Everybody knows Nelson Sardelli, right, Nelson?
Yeah, three of us I know, yeah.
Now, where did you come from originally?
By birth, I am a Brazilian. I grew up in São Paulo, Brazil. My parents, both mother and father, are Italians. I gotta say this quickly. My diction is bad because I just had oral surgery. I speak better than that. I don't even have an accent.
He's a dancer, he's a singer, he's a comedian, he does gun twirling?
Yeah.
Oh, he's been in movies. The man has had what, a life for 5 people.
Yes, in other words, my 50 minutes of fame lasted an hour and a half.
So you came from Brazil, and you were your father was a policeman and a lawyer.
No, yes, he came from Italy with only 3 years of grammar school, and he was a self-made man. And but he died when I was only 14, so
Yes.
I missed him. I never forgave him for doing that.
How did you get to the States?
Very legally,
Good.
I would like to emphasize.
Okay.
I came actually on a joke. A friend of mine, we used to work for General Motors. See?
Yeah, I know it's okay.
We used to work for General Motors, and he was sent to America by the company. And he said, "What about you guys? Would you like to come?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Send us an affidavit and I'll come." I was kidding. And he came here and he sent the affidavit.
Wow.
So he came with no knowledge of the English language other than a few good mornings and stuff like
And
that.
where did you land in the States?
Miami, took a bus to Detroit and went to Pontiac, Michigan. And could not get a job in General Motors. Could not get a job on anything at the
Good
time.
thing.
It was tough. And I taught dancing for Arthur Murray. And then luckily I was drafted into the United States Army, which
And you learned your English there and
English
how to
and
swear,
profanity. Yes.
how to curse. Yeah. Oh, that's a great way to learn it.
Yes.
Yeah. And singing.
Well, my singing, as a Brazilian, we all sing. Mardi Gras, everybody sings on the street. And my singing was limited to my father when I was young. I'd say, "Give me some money." He says, "Sing me an Italian song." So I sang.
wow.
Then I went to study opera. Me and Benito Maresca. And Benito stayed with it, but I couldn't handle it because opera, there is no room for levity. You either good or for the rest of your life you're going to hold the spear in the background. And I didn't have a spear, so I said, no, this is not for me.
That didn't work.
But I couldn't do it. I mean, because the teacher said, you come back next Thursday and don't talk. I said, "You're kidding." I said, "No, that's it. You treat your voice as a Stradivarius." I say, "Right." And I just didn't do it. So I was more interested in, I don't know, clowning around. And I did some tryouts in Brazilian television. Didn't go anywhere because I wasn't mentally ready for the surroundings. And when I came to America, I knew I was going to get in show business. I didn't know how, where, but I knew it was going to happen. And oddly enough.
But you've been an actor, you've been in films, you met some of the biggest stars in the world.
Yes, I have.
Who have you worked with when you were in Hollywood?
Well, primarily my Hollywood career was limited because they were north spring of Las Vegas. I was singing here. And,
Right. That's your love, to be in front of a live audience. You
and
love
I
that.
got the movie professionals came to town and they need a Mexican. And I worked for them for 9 weeks. all over.
Is that how you did gun twirling?
No, I did gun twirling before.
Oh.
In the movie, they didn't let me do gun twirling.
Oh.
No.
What about Cardinale?
Oh, God. Cardinale was one of the most exciting, sexy ladies that I ever met.
Ooh.
Even if she was dressed like a nun, she exuded, sexuality.
Really?
She was something else. Okay.
Well, now you have two beautiful daughters.
Yes,
That's fast forwarding.
Yes.
You've
I
been.
actually had three. One passed away
Yes.
in the same year of 9/11. She passed away a month after. I have my daughters, and
Right.
very blessed with them. Pietra is here. She works for the Spring Preserve. She was previously with the Three Square.
Right.
If I were a mafioso, Pietro would have been my consigliere. And Giovanna is in New York City. She directs plays, and she also teaches at New York University. She teaches acting and directing.
Well, the Three Square and the charity giving back, that's something you always have done. You have
Well-
always helped people, and I love that. I think that is a wonderful trait that you have. All those charities, all the mentally retarded children that you've entertained for.
Well, mental retardation is something that I think I started doing something for them when mental retardation was a thing of a closet. Nobody wanted to admit that they had somebody retarded because they thought it's a disease instead of a condition. And in the early mid 60s, I started doing something, and
That's wonderful.
and it became big. We did the Nelson Sardelli Star Shine. We shined people's shoes to raise money for the
Yes, that's
retarded kids,
incredible.
but more importantly, to bring to the light, mental retardation.
Right,
And
great thing.
I did this in most of the places that I work all over the world, including Malaysia and Hong Kong, Bermuda. And what was the beauty of it is that I got entertainers, I got community leaders, I got people who could speak English, and I got governors, I got politicians to shine
How many
shoes.
languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Portuguese because I'm Brazilian, Italian, Spanish. I defend myself in French, English, and profanity. Yeah, very, very
Versed in
fluent
that.
in professional.
Well versed in that. What would you like to do next with your life?
I'm very happy for all intents and purposes. I would say that I am retired because I still get calls. When people call me, I don't say, where is the job or how much you pay. I say, how big is your orchestra? And that kills the deal right then and there because they don't even know what an orchestra is anymore.
Right.
And because it's what I do, I'm not a rock and roller, I'm not I sing with a big band.
You're
Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind.
a lounge legend.
Well, the lounge legend,
You
but I
worked
worked
in so many clubs and so
Yes.
many menus.
But I did the main rooms also, and entertainment has changed. And I feel almost like the cowboys felt when they start putting the fences on the range. They start not being able to go as they want to go.
Losing the freedom.
Yeah, it's a different show business now. It's you know, when you came to Vegas in my days, I came here in '65. You came in with already a show that was finished. You were you had presented a finished act. Now it's getting to a point where people coming in and breaking their act in Las Vegas. But then again, I don't blame them because where are the places for them to perform?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now, what is Fiore? People
Fiore,
don't know
for
what
those of you that
club
do
is.
not know, is a non-existing club. So it's a non-club club called Fiore. In Italian, Fiore means flower, but for us it doesn't mean that. It means fun Italians organizing ridiculous events. We have no agenda, no reason, no anything.
Laughing is a good thing.
Yeah,
That's
we
one of
just
the-
get together
just
once a month, a
fun.
bunch of guys, and
You have a speaker.
Yeah, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, and to be a member, you must be Italian or non-Italian. We're very strict on that, and it costs $1 to join, which makes you automatically a president. Everybody's a president, and $25 a year because we have live music with every luncheon that we have. And it's fun. It's just, that's exactly what it is. Non-political, non-charitable, nothing.
But this is like entertainers that have worked in the
Not
business for
necessarily
years.
just entertainers, though. We have
Okay.
doctors, we have ex-policemen, we have lawyers, a couple of hookers. We have everything.
Burlesque dancer.
I know. She's a lovely lady. We love her.
Yeah.
She brings a lot of
Yeah.
life to the
Family.
club. But we have had some fantastic speakers, doctors that spoke about, relevant things. We have a gentleman that spoke about Howard Hughes. In other words, all it's in fun because we're proving nothing. We are
Everybody's
about
the
nothing.
president.
We're like the Seinfeld show. We're about nothing, and we're like Switzerland. We don't get involved with anything. Neutral.
Sure.
I get involved with other things, but
Yeah.
primarily, as I said, I would say that I am retired, but I still get involved with a lot of I would say charitable things if it's
Yes.
worthy cause.
Yeah.
And,
You did a policeman's fund
we
for
did.
the cops that were killed on duty.
That's still a
Long
going
time
thing.
ago.
Yes,
Wonderful.
widows and orphans of policemen killed in
Yeah.
the line of duty.
You've gone to lots of awards and honors all over the world, and
Yes, and they
So
all in
many things.
my bathroom there. That's my award
yeah, we'll
room.
have to film that. Have to
No,
show
because
that.
it's fun. You cannot take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to have the appreciation and admiration of
Oh,
your.
you were idolized.
of
You've
your
always
no,
been.
yeah. But it's what is important is that you have to keep things in perspective.
Right. Yes.
And as far as charity, here's the problem. When you do charity and people know, like as in my case, you lose the karma because you get immediately gratification. In other words, the left hand should not
There
know
is.
what the right hand do. And when an entertainer does a charity event, that is his karma right there because he gets his name in the paper.
The Veterans Club,
The Veterans
This
Club,
year,
8 years we've been doing the show.
bringing all those entertainers up there.
36 guys.
Fabulous.
So I have a wonderful array of tremendous entertainers that are givers. They're volunteers that say, we need to do this at certain place,
And they're there.
and
for
they're
you.
there.
Linda
We're-
and Audie always volunteer for those things.
Oh, yes. Linda,
Yeah, and they live
Linda
in
and I
Tampa.
go back to Atlantic City. We did a lot of those things there too. In fact, for many years people thought that I was a resident of New Jersey. I was for 7 years the host for the March of Dimes on television, the Telethon. And I was, again, involved with things. It's fun. It's good. It makes you feel good. It's like Starshine. When I told the guy, I say, I need you to come and we're going to shine shoes for 6 hours. They look at me, they say,
Are you kidding?
are you kidding? But then at the end of the day, they came to me and says, I never felt so good in my life.
And it's still going
Yeah,
on.
because it's the old
it's a
saying-
good thing. It's a nice thing. Yeah.
Nobody is taller than when you lean down to help somebody else. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was great. It was
But you have worked with some of the best people in the business. You were on Merv Griffin's show and all of
yes.
these.
I was the last opening act for Judy Garland here in Las Vegas. I worked with Robert Goulet. I've been mentioned in a few of the big stars' book, like Vic Damone. He calls me one of the brothers that he never had. So it was wonderful meeting all those people.
Yes.
A lot of them, people that I admire them in Brazil before I came here,
Right.
because being in show business never stops you from admire somebody's talent.
Who have you worked with that you most admire? Who have you met that you, any good stories that?
Well, I have funny stories, like even when I did the movie with the, oh my God, yeah, talking about Burt Lancaster, Marvin, Jack Palance.
Oh,
Jack
yeah.
Palance, he punches me in the movie, The Professional. But I told him, I said, Jack, Las Vegas is my city, I can't take you around. And he says, okay, I go out with you. So we came from the Valley of Fire. I'm still dressed like a raunchy Mexican with beer, and he showered, and I took him to the house before I came to this house. I've been here since '72, but before we were about 3 miles south of here, small house, and that was the day when we had moved into the house. So we had 3 stools, the bedroom the things was there yet, and nothing. So when I brought him to the house for me to change, my wife looked at him and she said, Jack, I hope you brought your own furniture. And he was a little depleted of humor. He said, I did not bring any furniture. So then she said, what can I offer you? Forgetting that we had nothing to offer. I says, I'll take a little wine. And it was beautiful because we only had a bottle of gallon wine that we used for cooking. And she went there and opened the bottle, found a decanter, and poured it on. And she offered to him, saying, Jack, we have this. And he did all the thing, and he started calling the names of it. And he says, I really don't know what wine is. I threw the bottle away. And he was
saying you could taste the cherries in it and all those different things, and it was just a little wine.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was going for the palate. And
yeah.
Yes,
Of
but it was
course.
funny.
Yeah.
He was being polite and was.
Did you see his one-arm push-up?
Oh yes, I did. I actually took him around to gun shops those days because I was doing gun.
Right, yes.
And it was amazing how people talked to him. They talked to him as if he was the real killer from the movies.
Oh, they get
And when
he's the part.
he decided to buy a gun, and the guy says, "Oh yeah, you can take it. I'm sure you have a lot of guns." He says, "I do not own a gun in my life. He never had a gun." So I even at the time he bought the gun, and I had Joe Condon made him a very nice holster and fantastic. Joe Condon was another great, how can I say, colorful character in Las Vegas, and passed away. But it was fun with Judy Garland. Also, we worked. I didn't want to do it because I was a star in the lounge. They want to put me in the main room as an opening act. I say, I'm the big fish here. Why am I going to be? And the guy said, you don't understand the break you're getting. And I went to Judy and I said, it's a pleasure working with you. So we didn't talk for a whole week. We just work. And then on the second week, she sent for me. She says, I would like for you to escort me around town. It was an interesting evening,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was tremendous. It was a pleasure. Pat Boone came to town. We became friends still today. We get on the phone and we spend hour and a half talking about everything from politics and to religion to a lot of humor. Pat is a very funny, wonderful guy.
Right.
And it's been.
Do you miss doing more entertaining these days?
It's funny what I'm going to say. I thought I would. I'm happy.
Yes.
I have dogs. I have motorcycles.
Yes.
I have a life.
You have beautiful daughters.
They have. There is life after show business.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great. But I had the pleasure. I sang at Carnegie Hall. I sang at the Opera House in Sydney, Australia. I did wonderful things. God was good to me because I never became what you call a household name, but I was respected in the business.
Yes.
And the people who saw my show were always entertained. They got their money's worth. And
Any regrets?
perhaps I have regrets that I could perhaps concentrate a little bit more. But was money-wise? No, that was never my goal. My goal was to entertain people. Regrets, I feel that perhaps certain things I didn't take as serious as I should have. And but I had the pleasure to do the last movie with Mae West, and
really?
that was funny.
What fun!
That was funny because I was called for that little part that he wrote because they had auditioned 364 Italians.
Wow!
And because there was a lot of dissension and arguments in the set among them, if he liked one, somebody would not, and they went through the people to the people, so they're running out of Italians.
They were killing each other.
He said, "What about that Italian guy that did the show for Mayor Bradley?" They said, "Get him, get him." So I came to town, and I went right into the set. Edith Head was there. Remember her?
Yeah, the designer.
The designer.
Yeah.
And they gave me the part, and I had to do right then a code reading with her stand-in. But luckily for me, there were over 200 newsmen. So I was performing to a live audience, not to a camera. Because you see, I do too much of this, which is going to say, Nelson, stop those hands if you want to be seen on the...
Bob's going to say, stop it.
But I mean, so I was very animate, you know.
Right.
And when I did the scene, I caught the scene very easy. I did bits that would be for a live audience. And the guys crack up, and it was good. And Edith Piet went running around and said, "We found the guy! We found the guy!" So they sent me to Mae West's apartment on Ravenwood there.
Oh, right.
And my manager, George Soares, he was really understanding the situation. But for me, again, like an average guy, I'm thinking, I'm going to play a romantic scene with a lady that is older than my mother-in-law. See, I'm not thinking of the greatness that I'm about.
You were young.
Exactly. No, I'm very aware of my ignorance, but I mean, I made amendments. So I go to her apartment, and everything is white. I almost got snow blinded. The piano is white, the carpets, and she's surrounded by some very gentle individuals, which, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Very lovely guys.
Yes.
And he came to me and says, "Here, just read your lines and she'll be right with you." I said, "Just a moment, young man. I'm not going to be 365 just for the heck of it. I'm going to read those lines and I'll come back in about a couple of hours and then we do it right." And he couldn't understand. He says, "Oh, just a moment." He left the room. His feet never touched the ground. Beautiful.
He floated.
Floated. And George, my manager, with cigar dropping in his lapel, he says, "Nelson, you don't understand. You got to do it." I say, "George, I want to do it, but I want to do it, be good at what I'm doing."
Right.
So now enters Mae West. Now is when you realize, now is when you realize what makes the lady what she was. She entered the room alone, but she comes in third. Do you understand what I'm saying? She came in alone, but as she came in third. In front of her, there was charisma that you could cut with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
There was personality,
Right.
and then there was her.
Right.
And she came to me,
Yes.
and we went to shake each other's hand, and we missed it. And I hit her right in the solar plex, but luckily she had this corset.
Were you nervous?
No, because my hand went, and I had an attack of laughter, but I had to control it because it was like a keystone comedy happening in my life. The nervousness of my manager, the guy that his feet didn't touch the ground,
Yes.
and the whole thing, And she looked at me, said, "Nelson, do me a favor." Whoops, psychological. Very clever woman, very smart. Says, I know you don't want to read it, but do me a favor. I just wrote those lines. I would like to see if they would play. I say, lady, you put it like that. How can I say no? Let's go for it. So we did it. And she said very spiritually, says, that was meant to be. You got the part.
Wow.
I wish to see Signorina Van Ellen. I have a message for her I bring from Italy.
Your name, please?
Mario Giuseppe Leonardo, Guastaferri Stinginata Pastriani.
Have a seat.
I'll be right with you, boys. There's enough for all of you. Jobs, I mean.
Letizia, bellissima.
Well, what do you know? The pizza man. When do you deliver?
Signorina, at last I find you.
Find me? Why, I'm in the yellow pages.
Federico Fellini, the great director, tell me to look you up.
Oh, Fellini. Oh, yes. He's my friend. Did he say look me up or eat me up?
Wow. I came out of our house. We had to go back to the studio. But I went down and I called my wife on the phone. And I could not tell her what was happening because my attack of laughter that I couldn't release over there came. And I was kneeling, sitting down inside of the pay phone. Those days they had
Hysterical.
the Superman telephone booth.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm laughing. And she says, what the heck is happening? So now we go to the studio. And we said, well, she wants me. And the guy says, okay, we'll let you know. I said, no, sir. Let me tell you what's happening. Don't have your people call my people. I am leaving. I don't need this. I'm working in Vegas. In those days, so I'm making $5,000 a week in 1965. I said, I really don't need this. And I took off. My manager couldn't understand this.
My God.
But it's funny because by the time I got home, the phone call said, Nelson, the contract is signed. I said, oh,
She wanted you, that was it.
good to throw a little Italianish in the thing. So I got the job and it was fun. Actually, that movie was the first movie that Magnum PI, what was his name? Selleck. Was his
Tom
first
Selleck.
movie, Tom Selleck, that was.
Yeah.
My part was bigger than his, and my name was in the credit and his wasn't.
Wow.
But as you see, that what got me. Yeah, it
So
was great.
did you ever have any run-ins with her or conversations with her? Or
No, it was
She-
just
she
pleasant. It
was
was
just
just wonderful. But then
business-like.
after that was it.
Right.
Another guy that was wonderful to us, Burt Lancaster. I did something that people shouldn't do it. When you're making a movie, you don't bring your camera and start taking pictures
No.
with the stars,
No.
But I mean, you don't know. I'm from Brazil. What do I know?
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
I am. So I was taking pictures, and I took the only guy I didn't take pictures was Ralph Bellamy and Robert Raya. But everybody else were having fun. Even Claudia Cardinale, I was showing her
Yeah.
gun stuff.
Right.
And I went to Jack Palance very humbly. I said, Mr. Palance, the people, my mother in Brazil would be so happy. Can we take a picture together? He looked at me and says, no.
No.
Oh, I fell apart. That's exactly. I fell apart. I said, God, this man just woke me up, and left. Half an hour later, he came to me and says, do you still want that picture? He was putting me up.
Oh.
Yeah, very, very great people. Yeah, very great people. Had a lot of fun with Lee Marvin. That was marvelous.
Those
Yes.
were great days.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. This really, really stars, and it was fun. I was just looking at television. I saw Claudio Villa. Claudio Villa in Italy. He was known as the Il Reuccio, the Little King. He was one of the greatest singers we had. He just passed away a few years ago. And I was there, and he, for fun, he says, come over, I'm singing in this club tonight. And I thought I was going to see him performing. And he got there, and he made me get up and sing. It's tough to do things like this. I got up and I sang. So I can say I sang with Claudio Villa. But then a guy came to me, I did not know where I was singing, and he gave me the thing for me to sign an autograph.